100 reviews a week. If you manage Google business profiles, yours or your clients', that number probably triggers one instinct. Good, the profile is growing. Customers see activity. The rating looks impressive. Except the data says the exact opposite. In a Localo study of 335,520 removed reviews across more than 22,000 Google business profiles, we found profiles with a rate of over 100 new reviews per week. Want to know how long those reviews stayed on the profile? 6 days. Meanwhile, profiles adding 1 or 2 reviews per week held onto them for nearly 600 days, 99 times longer. At Localo, we dug into that data, and I want to walk you through what's actually going on, why it's easy to focus on the wrong signal, what a profile that's on Google's radar actually looks like, and what you can do to make sure the reviews on your profile stay where they're supposed to. Let's get into it. Before we get into the data, let's rewind a bit. To understand why this is hitting so hard now, you need to know what it looked like a few years ago. I remember back at the agency, this was around 2019, 2020. Someone would say every once in a while, let's add 55 stars for this client. The profile will look solid. And you know what? It often worked. Those reviews stuck for months, sometimes a year or two. Google was moderating, but slowly and inconsistently, like a librarian with tens of thousands of books and one afternoon a week to check whether anything was on the wrong shelf. Then 2022, 2023 came around, and Google got access to AI-based tools, the same underlying technology that powers ChatGPT and similar products, capable of analyzing millions of reviews simultaneously, reading their content, and understanding context. The moderation system became a fundamentally different thing. Good analogy, imagine trying to rank a website using tactics from 2010. Technically, you can try, but the algorithm isn't the same algorithm anymore. That's exactly what's happening with reviews today. And now the scale of that shift, because the numbers are genuinely striking. In 2025, Google removed 292 million reviews from business profiles. This isn't a fight against individual bad actors. This isn't manual moderation. This is automated detection at full scale, running every day, 24 hours a day. The number of monthly removals grew 15 times over between late 2023 and January 2026. But the scale alone isn't the whole story. What matters more is what happened to the speed of detection. Let's take the simplest possible case, a 5-star review. No text, just stars. That's the hardest type to detect because the algorithm has the absolute minimum of material to work with, like a blank page with no context whatsoever. How long did those reviews survive depending on the year they were posted? I looked at this closely. Reviews posted in 2017, half of them were visible for 2,902 days, nearly 8 years. Reviews from 2023, 782 days. Still over 2 years, but noticeably shorter. Reviews from 2025, 13 days. Reviews from January 2026, 5 days. 5 days. From nearly a decade to 5 days. 580 times faster detection over 8 years. And most of that acceleration happened in the last 2. And here's the question a lot of people ask the wrong way. When you hear about removed reviews, the natural instinct is, what was written in the review? How should it be worded? What phrases should you use? And sure, content matters, but the data shows it's not the most important signal. There's something bigger. The number of new reviews appearing on a profile within a given time window. In the industry, this is called review velocity. And when I looked at the data, I saw something that genuinely surprised me because the scale is far more drastic than intuition suggests. Let's start with a profile that's growing organically. 1, 2 reviews a week because the business is serving customers and some of them come back to leave a review. Those profiles held onto reviews for an average of 594 days. That's a year and 7 months. A review sits on the profile, does its job, builds credibility. Now imagine the business runs an email campaign to their customer list. The pace jumps to 6, 10 reviews a week. Sounds reasonable, right? No purchase packages, just an active ask to real customers. And yet, the review lifespan drops to 53 days. Not 600, 53. That's 11 times shorter than organic pace. Just the increase in activity, no fake accounts, no purchase reviews, is already enough for the algorithm to start looking differently at the profile. Now picture a profile getting 100 or more new reviews a week. That's exactly the pattern associated with purchase packages, 100 reviews in a few days. How long do those reviews last? 6 days. To really get this, let's go back to that first number for a second. An organic profile, 1 or 2 reviews a week, 594 days. That's nearly 2 years. 2 years where every review sits visible on that Google business profile. Every potential customer who finds that listing in Maps sees it, reads it. It builds trust in the business. It influences the decision of whether to call or keep looking. A review works for nearly 2 years. A profile with 100 reviews a week? 6 days. After 6 days, Google removes it. It disappears from the listing. A potential customer won't see it. The money spent acquiring it, whether legitimately or not, is gone. And worse, the review count drops back down. All that effort back to 0. Same Google. Same profile. The only difference is the pace at which reviews appear. And that difference makes a review last 99 times shorter. Not twice as short, not 10 times, 99. But notice what happens in between, because this is the practical lesson. Just moving from 1 or 2 to 6 or 10 reviews a week cuts the lifespan by 11 times. You don't need a package of 100 reviews for the algorithm to start looking at a profile suspiciously. A pace increase that looks unnatural is enough. The safe organic ceiling based on this data is 2 to 5 reviews per week. Below that threshold, reviews live a long time. Above it, you're playing an increasingly risky game. I have one more observation for you that I didn't expect to see in the data. Rating-only reviews, just stars, survive 2.3 times longer than reviews with written content. 56 days with text, 127 days without. Why? Because the algorithm has less material to analyze. Text is signals. Stars alone is the minimum of signals. But, and this is the critical caveat, that protection is conditional. On profiles with a high review velocity, Google catches rating-only reviews and batch deletions, along with the ones that have content. Change one signal, but you don't escape the pattern. And that leads to the most important conclusion from the entire study. When a review disappears, instinct says, look at that review. What was in it? What got it removed? But Google isn't looking at a single tree. It's looking at the whole forest. It's not analyzing one review, it's analyzing the entire profile, its history, growth patterns, rating distribution, content similarity to other profiles, pace, the behavior of the accounts that posted those reviews. It's a little like medicine. A good doctor doesn't diagnose a patient based on a single test result. They look at the history, the patterns, the whole picture. Google does exactly the same thing. When we split our data into profiles that lost reviews most often versus those that rarely lost them, 3 recurring characteristics started emerging. Not 1, 3. And it's their combination that makes the difference. First, the proportion of 5-star ratings. Picture a profile with 1,000 reviews where 98% are 5 stars. Sounds great, but think about it for a second. How many businesses serving thousands of customers a year genuinely have 0 disappointed guests? Not a single late delivery, not one situation where something went wrong. High-risk profiles had exactly that kind of distribution, almost all 5s. And to the algorithm, that doesn't look like success. It looks like an unnatural pattern. Second, review content, specific or generic. We looked at how many reviews on a given profile contained phrases like highly recommend, great service, awesome company. No details, no employee name, no specific situation, just a few words of praise that could apply equally to any business. On high-risk profiles, more than 1 in 5 reviews sounded exactly like that. Third, pace, which we already covered, more than 20 new reviews per week. And here's an important thing so you don't draw the wrong conclusion. Each of these signals on its own, not yet an alarm. There are businesses that genuinely have 90-something% 5 stars because they serve customers exceptionally well. There are customers who write short reviews because that's just how they are. There are months when a business does something special and gets more reviews than usual. The problem starts when all three signals appear simultaneously on the same profile. At that point, Google doesn't see a happy business with satisfied customers. It sees a pattern that looks like manipulation. Think of it like traffic lights. 1 orange, Google is watching. 2 orange, Google starts analyzing. All 3 at once, and removals begin. If you manage multiple profiles, it's worth regularly checking each of these 3 things. It lets you catch a problem before Google acts. 3 beliefs that kill results, and that the data debunks. Myth number 1. If I reply to a review quickly and thoughtfully, Google will consider it more credible. The data says no. I looked at this carefully. Reviews where the owner replied within an hour had a 32% chance of being removed within 7 days. Reviews with no reply at all, 39%. Nearly identical. Reply speed is not a signal for the algorithm. It's a time correlation. Fast replies were coming with new reviews from 2025, when Google removes faster anyway. There's no causality here. Reply to reviews, absolutely, but do it for the customer reading the profile, not for the algorithm. Myth number 2. A perfect 5-star rating is the goal. The data says not always. Real businesses aren't perfect. Real customers aren't perfect. If a restaurant serves thousands of guests a year, someone is always going to be disappointed by the dessert. A profile with 1,000 reviews and a rating of 5 stars out of 5 is sending the algorithm a signal that increasingly looks unnatural. The data suggests a healthy rating range is 4.2 to 4.7. The harder you try to look perfect, the greater the risk that Google flags the profile as unnatural. Myth number 3. Review gating is a reasonable reputation protection strategy. Review gating is the practice of asking customers whether they're satisfied first, sending satisfied ones to Google, dissatisfied ones to a contact form. On the surface, it sounds reasonable. From Google's perspective, it looks like a review platform that only publishes positive opinions. Google explicitly banned this practice in 2018, and detecting it can result in a batch deletion or profile suspension. Many businesses do this without even realizing it. They're not trying to cheat, they're trying to protect their reputation. But the algorithm looks at the end result, not the intent. And while we're here, a quick note on legal risk. Buying reviews is increasingly not just an algorithmic risk, but a legal one as well. Regulators in multiple countries, including in the US, have started treating fake reviews as a form of consumer deception, with real financial consequences. The FTC has been active in this space. I won't go into the specifics, but it's worth keeping in the back of your mind that the playing field has changed. All right, time for the practical stuff. If I were building a business's reputation from scratch today, or revisiting strategy for a client, here are 7 things I'd do. 1. Forget the shortcuts. Any strategy that looks unnatural from a velocity standpoint is a liability. Reviews are built over weeks and months, not a single email blast with a bundle of review requests. 2. Focus on consistency. 2 to 5 reviews per week is a safe organic ceiling. Not several dozen, not several hundred, steady and consistent. 3. Never give customers pre-written text. The best reviews sound like a real person because they were written by a real person. Ask the customer, tell me briefly who helped you, what you came in for, what surprised you. 3 sentences with a specific detail are 10 times safer for the algorithm than a flowery testimonial copied from a template. 4. Don't obsess over a perfect 5-star rating. A natural rating in the 4.2 to 4.7 range builds more trust, both with potential customers and in the algorithm's eyes. 5. Set up monitoring. Google doesn't send notifications about removed reviews. A review just disappears from the count. If you're not checking regularly, you could lose 10 reviews in a week and not find out until a month later. 6. Reply to reviews, but briefly, specifically, and for the customer. A personalized reply that references the content of the review builds reputation. An automated, "Thanks, hope to see you again," builds nothing. And 7. If you're managing a profile that's lost more than 10 reviews in the past year, stop. Check the velocity. Check whether the percentage of 5-star reviews is unusually high for a natural profile. Check whether there are signs of review gating in the process for collecting reviews, because losing more than 10 is a signal that Google is watching that profile closely. 3 takeaways from the whole study. First, Google detects fake reviews faster than ever before, and the speed of detection increases every year. Second, the most important risk signal is not the content of a review, it's the pattern, especially the pace at which reviews appear on a profile. Third, a profile built on consistent, authentic reviews from real customers isn't just safer. Over time, it becomes increasingly resistant because it clearly looks different from the profiles Google identifies as suspicious. The full study with all the data and tables is on the Localo blog, link in the description. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Good luck out there.